I'm not Taylor Swift, but this is part 22 of making every single Harry Potter wand from the films from real wood. And this week it belongs to a character who once had his best mate put in his pants by a teacher who wasn't really a teacher. Now the wand book isn't of much help, and I think was written on a Friday afternoon by an intern because it does not make any sense. This is a piece of hawthorn which Draco Malfoy's wand is made from, and you can see it looks nothing at all like this picture or this resin prop. So the timber I have chosen is Zebrano or zebra wood, and it's called that for obvious reasons. It's an exotic hardwood which comes from West Africa, and not only is it super hard, it also has interlocking grain, which means it's very susceptible to tear out, so I've got to have very sharp tools and very light cuts. And if you're new here, I do not use carbide in this workshop because they are the devil's tools, and you can see here just how crisp and smooth that finishes straight off the tool. Now my last video has done bits across all three platforms, which is simply unheard of, but with that comes the question, do I sell my wands? Basically, no. I used to make loads to sell, including custom wands, but what I really love doing is making these videos. And rather fittingly for this video, it becomes a catch-22, because if I start making wands to sell, I then don't have time to make these videos. Now it's really subtle, but this shaft actually undulates a little bit here, gets thicker and then tapers off, and it is incredibly minute. So that's the thickest part, and that's the smallest, so we're talking maybe a millimetre of difference, but I think that's due to poor craftsmanship. I think what it should have been is this gradual taper, so that's what I've done on this piece. Now in case you weren't sure just how nerdy I am, I love to stick a ruler onto my shaft just to check for any lumps and gaps. And you might be thinking, hey, that's quite good. But if we turn the lights off, you can then see the slight gap we've got. But it's really not as bad as it looks. It's only 0.1mm or 4 thou of gap, which is the same as a piece of paper. But sanding will take way more off than that. Now I could have turned that straighter, but this wood was quite brittle and I didn't want to take any chances. Just like Crabbe and his actor, this wand is going to be finished before the end of this video, with cellulose sanding sealer and a carnauba wax. So honestly, this came out better than expected, and remember, you have been watching Garrick's Apprentice because